Hello everyone, my name is Kristen Avalos with KristenAvalos.com, creator of the Your Life, Your Way transformational coaching system. And I am here with the new moon in Gemini oracle reading. And so I am using the Sacred Rebels oracle card deck for this reading in Gemini. And I'm going to just tell you what all three cards were right now because they are saying the same message in kind of a different way, but the message is very clear this month. So the first card I picked was Beyond the Mind, the Heart Beats. The second card I picked was Softly, Softly, the Tender Touch. And the third card I picked was Going Beyond Normal. And so you might be asking, well, what exactly is the message with these three cards? And so the first one, Beyond the Mind, the Heart Beats, it's basically saying we really need to tune into what our heart is guiding us towards. And you hear this a lot, follow your heart, follow your heart. And this is really saying that there is actual wisdom in listening to what your heart says. Your heart is a very powerful source of information. And so you might be kind of grappling with something around this time of, you think that something is right in your head. It seems like you have to do something a certain way. And you're maybe feeling kind of confused about it, and you might be spinning in your head a lot because you're thinking in a certain way, and you're thinking in a way about A plus B has to equal C. And so the second card, Softly, Softly, Tender Touch, is kind of relating to this first message about needing to let go a little bit. And so the first card is saying, okay, listen to your heart, move down from your head, and kind of tune into what those more subtle feelings are. So if you're feeling in your heart or in your stomach that something doesn't feel right, but your head is saying, no, you should be doing it this way, move down from the headspace this month and really tune into, just listen. It's not saying you necessarily have to do anything, but it's really saying tune into that spot, listen to what it's trying to tell you, maybe write it down, go back and reread it, just so that you are aware that there is a different path for you than necessarily what your mind is saying is possible. And so going back to the second card, it's really saying that you have been moving, pushing forward. And again, it's really taking that masculine approach, just even if you're a woman, just going forward and really trying to push and make things happen. And sometimes that's really necessary. You have to move forward and you have to take those action steps and you have to really move and make an effort. But this card is saying, tune into your heart and also let things happen in a way that is a little bit more in flow. Allow things to come to you. So you could be amazed by sitting outside for 5 minutes and writing about what comes to you. And sometimes the action steps that we take, that could take, a lot of effort and a lot of time and maybe a lot of stress. Taking this softer, more feminine approach, you can have an insight come to you out of nowhere. And it could be something that could be actually really life-changing for you. And if you kind of flow into it and don't try to make it happen, but just ask the questions of, well, what would I do? If I left my job, well, what would I do? So just get into that habit of asking the questions and then looking to see the responses. It might come to you in a dream. It might come to you, you see a sign outside. And so, you know, putting these two cards together, it's really very strongly the message to slow down for a minute, listen, really tune in, and you'll be surprised at the responses. And then this third card, going beyond normal, I like this card. This card is saying that, I think this is almost sort of the conclusion, is that the answer that you might receive might be something that is unexpected. And when you're used to doing things in a very precise way and having a plan laid out, knowing how it's going to happen, you know, the mind likes that structure and organization. And this card, going beyond normal, is saying you might have to step a little bit outside of your comfort zone. You might have to step outside of the comfort zone of even what society says is right. And so this card is saying, going beyond normal, you're stepping into the fringes of maybe what is normally acceptable. And what comes from this is you're able to have more freedom. You're able to express yourself from what you really want to be saying, not what is expected from you. And there might be a little bit of shock value in there about what comes out when you're stepping outside and you're listening to something beyond what your head is telling you. So that's one thing. And the other thing, why this connects with the other two cards, is that it's really about going with the flow and going beyond normal. It's taking that path where you don't know all the answers. You might take a big leap and you have no idea even why you're doing that. You feel called to do it and you do it. And you might not have a response of why you're doing it. You might not have your 5-year plan laid out, but it feels right and it feels good and it makes you feel better. And so that's the message for this new moon period overall, is just really tune into what it is that you want. And if it seems like it doesn't make complete sense, don't discount it right away. Sit with it. Ask questions about how you can possibly go forward with this path, but know that these cards, there's a lot of unknown there. There's a lot of faith and trust that's necessary. And there's a lot of, you just need to do it without really thinking about it too much and without analyzing it too much. You have to just trust that you actually do know the answers. So thank you so much. I hope that was helpful. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye.